Hi everyone, in this lecture we saw about Python loops. In last lecture we already saw about the Python variables and how to declare a variable, how to print and delete a variable and multiple assignments. So now we have to learn about Python loops. So in every programming language we are using loops. In Python programming also we are using loops. So here in this lecture we will have to discuss about Python loops and what are those types of loops: while loop, for loop and nested loop. So these are the contents in this lecture, and now we will see what are the loops and why we are using loops. Here in general the statements are executed sequentially, and the first statement in a function is executed first followed by the second and so on. Sometimes now we will know about why we are using loops in every programming language. So sometimes we have to use several block of statements several times. So if you want to use same block of statements several times, then we have to write those same number of instructions several times in our programming. So then the programming instructions are increasing. So to decrease the number of instructions in our program, we are using loops. So loops are used to decrease the number of instructions and to use the same block of statements several times in our program without writing those several times. So this is the purpose of loops. And now we will see the flowchart of loops. Here first of all it checks the condition. If the condition is true, it executes the condition code. Until the condition is true, the condition code is executed repeatedly. This is called loop. So here until the condition is true, the conditional code is executed. Whenever the condition is false, then it goes to the out of the loop. So this is about the loop. And now we'll see what are the loops in Python programming. So here in Python programming language provides following types of loops to handle looping. So here the first one is while loop. So these three are Python loops. In Python programming we have three loops. First one is while loop, and second one is for loop, and third one is nested loops. First we will see while loop. It repeats a statement or group of statements while a given condition is true. So here in while condition we are writing first of all condition. If condition is true, it executes the block of statements inside the while loop. Otherwise it executes the out of the loop statements. So this is about while loop, and it repeats a statement or group of statements while condition is true. And second one is for loop. It executes a sequence of statements multiple times and abbreviates the code that manages the loop variable. So here in for loop we are using variables, and here we are using sequences. For executes a sequence of statements. For executing sequence of statements multiple times we are using for loop. And the third one is nested loop. You can use one or more loop inside any another while, for or do while loop. So nested means one loop inside another loop. So that is called nested loop. That means if you write for loop, then we have also write for loop inside for loop. So that is called nested loop. In nested loops we have nested for loop and nested while loop. So that is called nested loops. Now we will see one by one with a clear example, then you can understand very easily. So first one is while loop. So in while loop, a while loop statement in Python programming language repeatedly executes a target statement as long as a given condition is true. So in while loop, the condition is true. Until the condition is true, it executes the block of the statements inside the while loop. Whenever the condition becomes false, it comes out of the loop. So the syntax for while loop is while expression statement of s. So here observe clearly that here statement of s is not in the line of while. We gave some space for writing statements. While, because it indicates the loop. It indicates that the statements is within the loop. So that's why we give space. Here Python programming language indentation is very compulsory. because if you didn't give proper indentation, then you will get indentation error. In other languages, in C programming and Java programming, we are using curly braces to indicate the starting and ending of the loop. But here, instead of using curly braces to indicate the starting and ending of the loop, we are using indentation. We are giving some space. So here we are giving some space, so that's why it indicates that statement is in within the loop. If you write that statement in the same line of the while, then it indicates the out of the loop. So that's why always maintain indentation while writing Python programming. So if you write wrong indentation, if you give unwanted spaces in the programming, then you will get indentation error. And now for any non-zero value, another point is that for any non-zero values, the output is true. Otherwise, the output is false. So for example, for 0 value, the output is false. For any non-zero values, that is greater than 0 value, the output is true. So this is about while loop. Now we'll see the flow chart of while loop. See here, first of all, condition. It checks the condition. If the condition is true, it executes the block condition code. This is the block of statements that we write inside the loop. And if it again goes to the condition and it checks the condition, until the condition is true, then it executes the code until the condition becomes false. Once the condition becomes false, it goes out of the loop and it executes the statements outside the loop. So this is about while loop. Now we will see one example. This is a simple example of our while loop. Count is equal to 0. In last lecture, we already learnt about Python variables. So here count is the variable name and it is a reserved memory location, and 0 is the value. 0 is the value which is stored in count. So initially we are assigning count value as 0. And now the condition, while count less than 9. So here count is 0 and less than 9. So here that condition is true. So 0 is less than 9. The condition is true. So that's why it goes to the inside the loop. Then the statements inside the loop are print the count is count. Here, whenever this condition is true, this one is printed. The count is 0. Count means count here is 0. So this one is executed. The count is 0. Later, the count is equal to count plus 1. We are incrementing the count value as 1. So initially the count value is 0 is equal to 0 plus 1. That means that the count value is increased by 1. So later the count value is increased by 1. Then it again checks the condition. So the condition is later 1 less than 9. That means that 1 is less than 9. So that's why it goes to the inside the loop. Then the count is 1 is executed. So later the count value is again incremented by 2. First of all 1. 1 plus 1. The count is 2. Later it again checks the condition 2 is less than 9. So that's why the count value is 2. Later it again checks the condition, later 3 less than 9. Up to this 8 less than 9. So in the similar way it goes to the 8 less than 9, so count is 8. It will also printed. Then again it incremented by 1. 9 less than 9. So this condition is false. So this condition is false, then it executes the outside the loop statement. The loop outside statement is print goodbye. So whenever the condition becomes false, it prints the goodbye statement. So this is about while. So here in this lecture I will explain only examples and those explanation. In next lecture I would like to upload all the examples and I will show you how to execute those statements, how to execute those programs in Python compiler. And don't worry about for Python beginners, don't worry about how to program Python. So it is very easy language compared to all other languages. And I will show you how to compile this Python programming in compiler in next lecture. And we will see these all examples in next lecture and I will show you how to run this code. So next we will see using else statement with while statement. Here see we are also using while statement with else statements also. Python supposed to have an else statement associated with a loop statement. So if the else statement is used with a while loop, the else statement is executed when the condition becomes false. In the previous example we didn't use that else statement. Here we are using else statement. That means that if the condition is true, it executes the loop inside statement, otherwise it executes the else statement. This is the example of while loop. So here count is equal to 0 and we assign the count value as 0 initially, and while count less than 5. Count less than 5 means 0 is less than 5. When 0 is less than 5, then the count is less than 5. This will print the count is less than 5. So 0 is less than 5. The condition is true. Then it executes the inside the loop function. So 0 is less than 5 and later 1. It is incremented by 1. 1 is less than 5. So 1 is less than 5. Condition is true. Then it will print the 1 is less than 5. Later it increments the 2. Now the count value is 2. 2 less than 5. So the condition is true. So that's why 2 is less than 5 printed. After that it increment by 3. 3 is less than 5. So 3 is less than 5 printed. Next it is incremented by 4. 4 is less than 5. The condition is true. So it will print 4 is less than 5. Later it is incremented by 5. 5 is less than 5. It becomes false. So it executes the else statement. Print count is not less than 5. So 5 is not less than 5 will be printed. So this is the output for this else statement with while statement. I hope that everyone understand that else statement with while statement. Now we will move for loop. Here it has the ability, for loop have the ability to iterate over the items of any sequence such as a list or a string. So here we are using to iterate list or string, we are using for loop. So the syntax for loop is for iterating variable in sequence or statement s. This is the syntax for loop. Here in for loop we are using iterating variables for iterating and sequence. You can easily understand that for seeing for loop example. Now we have to try to understand what is for loop and its syntax. And here if a sequence contains an expression list, it is evaluated first. Then the first item in the sequence is assigned to the iterating variable. Next, the statements block is executed. Each item in the list is assigned to iterating variable and the statement block is executed until the entire sequence is exhausted. Until the entire sequence is exhausted, it executes the statements. So here, see, this is the flow chart of for loop. Item from sequence. Suppose we have to mention one sequence in the program, in the condition. Then if the item is in the sequence, then it executes the statement and it goes to next item from the sequence. Otherwise, if no more items in the sequence, if all items are completed in the sequence, then it moves to the out of the loop. Now we will see one example. This is the example for Python. This is the example for loop. For letter in Python. Here Python is the sequence. This is the sequence. And here letter is the variable, iterating variable. So for letter in Python. So how many letters total? 6 letters. We have 6 letters. So here first of all we have to print one by one. This is the sequence. This is the one item, this is the one item, this is the T is the one item, H is the one item, and O and N. These are separate items for letter in Python. And print current letter. So here for letter in Python, this is the sequence. Until the sequence is completed, it executes this statement. So here first one, it will print the current letter P. Next Y, T, H, O, N. Python is completed. Next it moves the out of the loop. Then it goes for fruits is equal to banana, apple, mango. Here we are mentioning 3 fruits in this list. So here for fruit in fruits. For example, if fruit is in fruits, then it executes the current fruit. Here we are using 3 fruits. So until these 3 fruits completed, it executes the statement banana, apple, mango. So this list is completed. So the transfer control goes out of the loop because the list is completed. The sequence is completed. The items in sequence is completed. Once the items in sequence is completed, it moves out of the loop. So here then the print goodbye. Goodbye will be printed. So this is the output for loop. I hope that everyone understands that what is for loop and its syntax with this example. Now we will see the nested iterating by sequence index. We have to iterate for by using sequence index also. An alternative way of iterating through each item is by index offset in the sequence itself. Following is a simple example. I think that many of you didn't understand this, but in next lectures after listening the next lectures, then you can easily understand this sequence index. So here fruits is equal to, first of all we are mentioning fruits is equal to one list. In those list we are mentioning banana, apple, mango, and for index in range len of fruits. Here len, we are using length. Len means length function. Here it indicates the total number of, len is a built-in function which provides the total number of elements in the tuple as well as the range. It is a built-in function. It indicates the size of the fruits. What is the size of the fruits? The size of the fruits is 3. So here print current fruit of index. First value it is 0. So in the 0 index, what is there? This is the 0 and 1 and 2. So in 0 index we have banana. So first of all banana is printed and later it is incremented by 1 and next one is 1. Apple is printed and next one is 2. So mango is printed, 3 is completed. So it comes out of the loop. Then print goodbye. Goodbye will printed. So this is about iterating by sequence index. And next one and using else statement with for loop. We are also using else statement with for loop with else statement also. Python supposed to have an else statement associated with a loop statement. If the else statement is used with a for loop, the else statement is executed when the loop has existed iterating the list. So here we are also same example for while loop also. In while loop also we are using, first of all we are using while loop individually, later we are using else statement with while statement. So here for loop also, for also we are using else statements. So this is a simple example for using else statement with for loop. And for num in range of 10, 20. So here if the range is for number range is in 10, 20, to iterate between 10, this means that to iterate between 10 to 20. And for I in range 2, num, to iterate on the factors of the number. And if num percentage I double is equal to 0, here this statement is for to determine the first factor, and to calculate the second factor, this is a statement, and print percentage d executes num, I, j. This means that after executing, if up to this range, it executes these statements. After end of the statement, then else print number is a prime number. So it executes a prime number. So break. Here is using else statement with for loop program, and the output is 10 equals 2 into 5. 11 is a prime number. In this way, the output will be printed. I think that most of you didn't understand this one in this lecture. We have to understand in next lecture, so don't worry. I have to explain in next lectures also about this example with a clear explanation. And now we will see nested loop. Python programming language allows to use one loop inside another loop. Following section shows few examples to illustrate the concept. Here, instant nested loop is nothing but a loop inside another loop. That is called nested loop. Here, there's nested for loop. This is the syntax for nested for loop. For iterating variable in sequence. So here this is one loop and this is the second loop. This loop is in this loop. So we are writing loop inside loop. So that's why it is called nested loop. This statement is for this one and this statement is for this one. This is the syntax of nested loop. And the syntax for nested while loop statement in Python programming language is while expression, and this statement is for this one and this statement is for this loop. This means loop inside loop. So that's why it is called nested loop. This is a nested while loop and this is a nested for loop. And another one is, so this is an example for nested loop. So finding the, for example, this is a simple example, find the prime numbers from 2 to 50. The output we have to get is the prime numbers, between 2 to 50. Now we will see the program. First of all, initially the I value is assigned to 2, I is equal to 2. Then why I less than 50. That means 2 is less than 50. The condition is true. Then j is equal to 2. And if the condition is true, then we have to assign j is equal to 2. And y j less than is equal to I by j. J less than is equal to I by j. 2 less than is equal to I by j. I is nothing but with 2. 2 by 2. 2 by 2 how much? 1. So 2 less than is equal to 1. So that's why the condition is true. If not, I percent j is break. If not, I percent j means I is 2. Percent j means 2. So 2 1's 2. That means remainder. If remainder is 0, now 1, it becomes 1. So j is incremented by 2. And now j greater than I by j. If j is greater than I by j, in j value is 2. 2 greater than I by j. If 2 greater than is I by j, then the print value is prime. Otherwise goodbye. So here up to this, it will print 47 prime numbers because we are printing only 2 to 50. And after the execution of this condition, if the condition becomes false, then it will print goodbye. So finally it prints goodbye. And this is about nested loop. So I hope that everyone understand this lecture, and if you have any doubts, please ask me in the comment section. I will try to clarify your doubts, and thank you. If you can like this video, you can subscribe my channel to get more lectures. And in next lecture I would like to explain about these programmings in online Python compiler. We will see these all programs are executing or not. In next lecture we will see that. Thank you.